Czy masz odwagę powiedzieć żonom, dziś stałem tam, gdzie stało domo?
Hi guys, welcome, and today we are comparing two computers, Dell Latitude 5401 and Dell Latitude 5490, and let's check what's the difference between of them and why. And the Dell Latitude 5490 was built in 2018, and the 5401 was built in 2019. So it's 1 year younger. And we need to note that the higher number doesn't mean it's a newer computer. It's opposite, the lower number. But what and why? In a Dell Latitude 5490, we have Intel i7 from 8th generation, version U, ultra voltage, with 4 cores and 8 threads. And then we can have DDR4 memory, 2400 MHz, up to 32 GB in the two 16 GB DDR4 modules. And what is the most important here now? It only takes 90 watts of power. It has power supply, 20 volt power supply, up to 90 watts. It needs 90 watts. So, and you can have configuration with classic 2.5 inch SATA drive, hard drive, or this is a spinning drive, or you can have configuration with M2 slot, and you can have there M2 SATA or M2 NVMe. And it depends, because if you will buy a computer with Dell Latitude 5490 with a 2.5 inch spinning drive, you have no option. There's no option to upgrade it to M2 slot drive. If you will buy a device with M.2 slot drive, there's no option to install an older drive with a spinning drive. There's no option for that. So you need to remember that if you will buy a computer with a 2.5 inch SATA drive, you will be stuck with 2.5 inch drive. You can install 2.5 inch spinning drive or 2.5 inch SATA SSD drive, but there's no option to upgrade to NVMe at that moment for that computer. So it's better to buy a computer with M.2 drive, and it doesn't matter, because if you have a computer with M.2 SATA, you can remove the SATA drive and install M.2 NVMe in that place. This is upgradable in this situation when you have M.2 slot. So this is very important. You are free to upgrade your RAM up to 32 GB into 16 GB modules, and you can replace your battery. Because if you buy a used computer, probably your battery will be weak or even dead. But there's no option to upgrade CPUs, so you need to look, because you can have a computer with i5 or i7 processor, and this i7 will be 8665U, 4 core 8 threads. So this is one thing. This is a good computer. This is even now in 2024, where a 6-year-old computer. This is a fast computer. It is a good computer, but it's not the best option, because in the same price you can buy Dell Latitude 5401 when you have a i7 from a 9th generation from 2019, and that will be a i7 processor with exactly a 9850H. This is no low voltage processor. This is an ultra performance version, but that you will have a 6 cores and 12 threads. So we have a much newer processor, newer generation. Because in the i7 in the 9th generation, we have i7 with 4 cores, 8 threads, and i7 processors with 6 cores, 12 threads, much newer, 9850H. Of course, you can also install RAM up to 32 GB in two 16 GB modules, but with a clock speed of 2666 MHz. So it's not 2400 like in the 8th generation, but 2666 MHz modules. And of course, you can upgrade your drive. In a Latitude 5401, you will have an M2 slot. There's no option to install a 2.5-inch spinning drive. There's no option for that. You will have always in 5401 M.2 slot, when you can install M.2 SATA or M.2 NVMe. My recommendation is an NVMe. And of course, you can upgrade, remove or replace your battery. This is a high capacity battery, because in 5490 you have about 45 watt an hour. Here it will be 64 watt an hour. You can upgrade replace battery if you will be dead, but it needs a charger with 130 watts. So in the 5490 you have 90 watts. Here we have 130 watts, which is a minimum charger which can be used here. Important thing, very important thing. What about the system, about your firmware? You have UEFI, you have secure boot capability, you have TPM20, because that's the Latitude, the business series of that. We have a 14-inch screen. It's not 13 like in the MacBook. It's not 15 or 15.6 like in the consumer era, in the home laptops. It's a 14-inch, but with 1080p, and it works pretty great. It's light, portable, and you can use it at work. Why I'm comparing that computers? From one reason. Half a year ago, I decided to buy 5401 and to move my 5490 from a business, from office to a travel computer. So my old 5490 was moved from one place to another. I used it before 5490 before as a business computer. Now, half a year ago, in spring 2024, I've decided that I will move that business computer to a travel, and I will buy something new. It will be Dell Latitude 5401 as a business computer for a work, with the same charger, and but with a i7 processor from 9th generation, 6 cores, 12 fresh. I was looking for something with the same amount of memory, 32 GB of memory, that I will be able to use M.2 NVMe drive up to 2 TB, and that I will have 6 cores, 12 fresh. I've just needed something for video post-production in the company, because at home I use a desktop, the Intel Nuke. I use Intel Nuke, but in the company I've needed something with 6 cores. So Latitude 5401. Now I'm back from my trip to Cyprus, and after I came back to Berlin from Cyprus, when I was using my old 5490 with 4 cores, 8 threads as a travel computer, and I've decided that when you work for a long time with i7 with 4 cores, 8 threads, you think that everything is wonderful. This is really fast computer. But when you buy something with 6 cores and 12 threads, and you make post on that, you see that the fast is not. That something can be even faster. It can be better, can be faster, and it can work. And so I've decided that I will replace that travel computer with another 5401. That I was super happy in the company with 5401, so I've decided that I will buy a second 5401 computer just for a travel, that I will use my old NVMe drive, and we'll talk a little more later. So I've decided that I need something faster, and that 5401 will be the best thing at that moment, and I will buy some used one, maybe in the just looking good, not the best, but I will replace a battery, I will replace a memory, I will replace a hard drive. I need just something working with a good processor, with a i7 6-core 12 threads, and with a good main board and the screen, and everything will be okay. And at that moment, I've looked for some used computer for which I paid 300 euros with Zante 5401. Then I've decided to take the hard drive from my 5490, which was 2 terabyte silicon power SSD, really great, NVMe generation 4, pretty 1.4, pretty great, 2 terabyte capacity. And then I bought a computer with 512 gigabyte of SSD and 16 gigabyte of RAM into 8 gigabyte DDR4 modules. Then I've taken that old 2 terabyte drive from that computer, and I've put the 512 gigabyte in that old one, and then I removed the 2 8 gigabyte modules from that new 5401. I bought 2 new 60 gigabytes each modules, so together that will be 32 gigabytes and 2 16 gigabytes modules, which are installed in that new computer. And after installing that, it was really great, and I've replaced that weak battery because the battery was really weak. I bought a new battery, so I paid about 50 euros for 2 16 gigabyte modules of RAM DDR4, and I paid another 50 euros for a battery. So I had to pay 100 euros for spare parts, RAM and battery. So we have 300 plus 100, so that's 400 euros, and with that we have 400 euros, and I bought for 40 euros chargers, so it's another 440 euros for a new travel computer, which will be used for new trips, because I wanted something with which I will be able to make a post-production, to not only copy files, which was possible on the older one, but just to make a fast post-production. Maybe I will have to render some videos on a trip, because usually I did it at home, or I did it at work, at company, on a nude or on a desktop. But now I wanted something that I will be able to work on a way that I can take 2 computers with me, 2 laptops with me, a work one and another for a travel, and just to work remotely, to make some working abroad. So when I compare the 5401 with 5490, 5401 is much faster. Much faster, but you need a better charger. And I decided to buy a used one, original Dell charger with 240 watts. So I've done this 130 for which was in the specification as a minimum power for a 5401, but then I've decided that with 240 it will be a little oversized, but there will be no problem with overheating. It will work even much better, and it worked. So if I can really recommend you 5401 over 5490. The price now is very similar for these computers, but you need to remember that with both 5490 and 5401, you need to install new memory, you need to install new hard drive, you need to install new battery, and you need to install new charger. So you need to have these 3 things new in your computer: memory, hard drive, battery, and a charger, and everything will be great. And the 5401 also works pretty great in a high temperatures like in Greece, Spain, under air conditioning, and everything will be wonderful. and I'm gonna catch you later.
Ty co kobiety chciałbyś zniewolić, pozbawić chciałbyś niewolnej woli. Ksiądzie biskupie, do was to mówię, wstydzi się was dziś kraj. Nie płaczcie siostry, ducha nie traćcie, uwierzcie w naszą wygraną w walce. Uwierzcie w to, że już niedługo piękniejszy będzie kraj.